Let's talk about retirement. But this isn't your parents' retirement we're discussing. Seriously, the old rule book, it's been tossed out the window. The entire idea of what a secure retirement even looks like has completely changed. So let's dig into what that actually means for all of us.
So, let me ask you something. When you think about your financial future, maybe late at night, what's that one fear that really gets to you? For millions and millions of people, it's a very specific and, honestly, a very modern anxiety.
And there it is, the fear of outliving your money. This is a relatively new problem, Previous generations, they just didn't worry about this in the same way. This isn't just a vague feeling, it's a whole new economic reality we're facing.
This quote from certified financial planner Phil Lubinsky really just hits the nail on the head. He says his clients back in the 80s and 90s had pensions, that guaranteed paycheck for life from their employer, plus Social Security. That covered their basics. If the stock market took a dive, okay, they just spent a little less on travel that year. For so many of us today, that kind of safety net is just gone.
So it makes sense, right? If the problem has changed this dramatically, then the old solutions, the old rules of thumb, they're just not going to cut it anymore. Let's take a look at exactly why that old advice is so unreliable now.
For the longest time, the 4% rule was basically the gold standard of retirement planning. It's so simple, and for a while there, it really worked. The idea was to have a withdrawal rate that would hopefully make your money last for a 30-year retirement.
But things are different now. As Kurt Aletta from Security Benefit puts it, the 4% rule is now a conversation starter, not a conclusion. It's no longer this hard and fast rule you can just set and forget. So, what changed?
Well, it's really a perfect storm of these four things. First, we're living longer, which is fantastic, but it means our money needs to last longer too, maybe 30, maybe even 40 years. At the same time, a lot of experts are forecasting lower investment returns than we saw in the past. Add on top of that, skyrocketing healthcare costs, and the fact that we now understand just how much our own emotional decisions during a market downturn can wreck a portfolio. It all adds up.
Okay, so if the old model of just saving up a big pile of money and pulling out 4% a year is broken, what's the new model? Well, it requires a completely new way of thinking about the whole thing.
This right here is the big mindset shift. Instead of obsessing over the total size of your nest egg, the new focus is on creating a steady, reliable stream of income. Think of it less like a savings account and more like you're building your own personal pension, a paycheck you can count on every single month, no matter what the stock market is doing.
So, how in the world do you create that paycheck? Well, you start by splitting your expenses into two big buckets, your needs and your wants. Over on the left, you've got your essentials, the absolute must-pays, like your housing, food, and healthcare. And on the right, you have your discretionary spending, the fun stuff, the wants but not the needs. The whole new strategy is built around making absolutely sure you can cover that needs column first.
And Liza Tyler from Transamerica puts it perfectly. The goal is to cover all your essential expenses with predictable sources of income. That creates your financial bedrock, your safety net. Then, any money you have left over can be invested for growth, to pay for the fun stuff and, really importantly, to keep up with inflation over time.
Okay, so if the goal is to build this predictable income stream, what tools can actually help you do that? This brings us to a very specific type of financial product.
Let's just be real for a second. Nobody wakes up in the morning excited to go shopping for an annuity. I mean, the word itself can be confusing, and let's be honest, some people have a pretty negative view of them. But that's usually because they're focused on the product itself, not on the problem it's designed to solve.
Because this is what people are actually asking for. They want peace of mind. They want to know deep down that their bills are going to get paid no matter what. They're looking for an outcome, and it's up to the financial industry to provide the right tool to get them that outcome.
So let's try looking at annuities in a totally different way. At its core, an annuity is a tool for managing risk, specifically the risk of outliving your money. You can think of it as longevity insurance. You hand over a portion of your savings to an insurance company, and in exchange, they promise to give you a guaranteed paycheck for life. You're basically transferring the risk from your shoulders to theirs.
So what can you actually do with all this information? The key is to have a much smarter conversation about your retirement plan, whether that's with a financial advisor or even just with yourself. It really all comes down to asking the right questions.
Think of this as your new retirement planning checklist. First, and this is huge, start the conversation with income, not with your total assets. Ask, what number needs to show up in my bank account every month? That one question reframes the entire goal.
Second, get serious about separating your needs from your wants. This is so crucial because it helps you prioritize securing your essential lifestyle first. Third, talk about longevity as a risk. Living a long time is amazing, but you have to plan for it financially. Fourth, stress test the plan. Ask your advisor to show you a side-by-side comparison. What does my retirement look like with a guaranteed income source, and what does it look like without one? And finally, number 5, demand total transparency about any financial product you're looking at. You need to know all the fees and any limitations right up front.
So I'll leave you with this one last question to chew on. Is your retirement plan built for yesterday's world or for today's? Is it just focused on saving up a big pile of money and then crossing your fingers and hoping it lasts? Or is it actually designed to create a reliable paycheck that will support you for the rest of your life?